Ethan took a deep breath as he stepped into the cemetery. His hands felt cold, and his heart pounded in his chest. He had never been here before, not since his father's funeral. Now, standing in front of the headstone, he felt something heavy pressing down on him. His father's name was carved into the stone, along with the dates that marked his life. Ethan ran his fingers across the letters, swallowing the lump in his throat. He had so much he wanted to say, but no words came out. "I miss you, Dad," he finally whispered. The wind picked up slightly, rustling the trees above him. It almost felt like a response. He closed his eyes, letting the memories flood in his dad teaching him how to ride a bike, laughing at silly jokes, ruffling his hair before bed. It all felt so close yet so far away. Then, out of nowhere, he heard it. A voice, soft, familiar. His eyes snapped open. He spun around, heart racing. The cemetery was quiet. No one else was nearby. But he knew what he had heard. "Dad," he whispered. For a moment, everything stood still. A strange warmth filled his chest, chasing away the cold. He wasn't afraid. If anything, he felt comforted. Tears welled up in his eyes, but for the first time in a long while, they weren't just from sadness. He wasn't alone. His father was still with him somehow, in some way, and deep down, he knew he always would be. Liam sat on his bed, staring at the old wooden box he had found in the attic. It was covered in dust, but the lock had already been broken. His hands trembled as he lifted the lid. Inside, he saw a stack of yellowed paper's letters. He picked up the top one. The paper felt fragile, like it could tear at any moment. His eyes scanned the words, and his breath caught in his throat. "To my dear son, Liam, if you're reading this, then the truth can no longer stay hidden." Liam's heart pounded. His father had written this? But how? His dad had never mentioned anything about a letter. His hands shook as he turned to the next page. "There's something you must know about our family. Something I never had the courage to tell you." A shiver ran down Liam's spine. He glanced around the empty room as if expecting someone to appear. He could feel that this letter was about to change everything. His fingers tightened around the paper as he read on. "I made a mistake long ago, and now you're the only one who can make it right." Liam's breath hitched. A mistake? What mistake? The letter ended there. No explanation. No answers. He frantically searched the box, flipping through more letters. He needed to know the rest, and that's when he saw it, a second letter, sealed in a red envelope. His heart raced as he reached for it. Whatever was inside, it was going to reveal the truth, and Liam wasn't sure he was ready for it. Emma never thought an ordinary day would lead her to the biggest secret of her life. It started when she was helping her grandmother clean the old family house. While dusting a bookshelf in the attic, she accidentally knocked over a stack of books. That's when she saw it, a tiny crack in the wall. Curious, Emma ran her fingers along the surface. It felt hollow. She pushed against it, and suddenly the wall shifted. A small hidden door creaked open. Emma's heart pounded. She hesitated for a moment, then stepped inside. The air smelled musty, like something untouched for years. Moonlight from the attic window barely lit the space, but she could see just enough. A single wooden chair sat in the center of the room. On it rested a dusty old box. With shaky hands, Emma lifted the lid. Inside, there were stacks of letters and a worn-out journal. The pages were yellowed, and the ink had faded. Margaret Holloway. Emma's breath caught. That was her grandmother's maiden name. Why was this hidden away? What was so secret about it? She flipped through the journal, her eyes widening as she read the words. "I had to do it. I had no choice. If anyone ever finds this, they will finally know the truth." Emma's heart raced. What truth? What had her grandmother done? She turned to the next page, then gasped. What she read changed everything she thought she knew about her family, and she wasn't sure she was ready to know more. Jason had always been curious about the old trunk in his grandfather's basement. It sat in the corner, covered in dust, with a giant rusted lock keeping it shut. Every time he asked about it, his grandfather would just shake his head and say, "Some things are better left alone." But one day, Jason couldn't ignore it anymore. While his grandfather was out, he grabbed a flashlight and hurried down the creaky basement stairs. The lock was old and weak. With a few hard tugs, it suddenly snapped open. Jason's hands trembled as he lifted the lid. Inside, there were stacks of old photos, letters, and something wrapped in a faded cloth. He carefully unwrapped it, and his breath caught. It was a black leather notebook. The cover had a name scratched into it, Edward Grayson. Jason frowned. That wasn't his grandfather's name. He flipped open the notebook, and the first words sent a chill down his spine. If you're reading this, then the truth is finally coming out. Jason's eyes darted to the next page. The handwriting was rushed, desperate. I never meant for it to happen. But if I had told anyone, they would have never forgiven me. Jason's heart pounded. What had this man done? And why was his grandfather hiding it? As he kept reading, his stomach twisted. This wasn't just a secret. It was something no one was ever supposed to find. And now, Jason had no choice but to uncover the truth. Emily never thought much about the attic. It was dusty, full of old boxes, and always gave her an eerie feeling. But when a storm knocked out the power one night, she grabbed a flashlight and decided to explore. As she rummaged through the boxes, she found something unusual, a small wooden chest, hidden beneath an old quilt. Unlike the other things in the attic, this chest looked important. She lifted the lid and gasped. Inside, there were dozens of letters, all tied together with a faded red ribbon. Each one was addressed to Catherine Holloway. Emily frowned. That name wasn't familiar. She picked up the first letter and carefully unfolded it. The handwriting was elegant but shaky, as if the writer had been in a hurry. Catherine, if you're reading this, I hope you can forgive me. Emily's heart pounded as she read further. I had no choice. If they found out, they would have taken everything from us. Her hands trembled. What was this secret? And why had someone gone through so much trouble to hide these letters? As she read more, the truth slowly unraveled. A lost love, a dangerous betrayal, and a decision that changed everything. Emily suddenly realized these letters weren't just a part of the past. They were a warning. And now, she was the only one who knew the truth. Jake never expected to find anything interesting in his grandma's old house. It was just a place filled with dusty furniture and fading wallpaper. But when he was cleaning out the basement, something caught his eye: a loose brick in the wall. Curious, he pried it open. Inside was a small leather-bound book, its pages yellowed with age. The name on the cover read, Eleanor Grayson, 1942. Jake's heart raced. Eleanor was his great-grandmother, but no one ever talked about her. As he flipped through the pages, his hands shook. The diary told a story unlike anything he had heard before. They are watching me. I know what they did, and now they know that I know. Jake's stomach tightened. What was she talking about? He kept reading. I tried to tell the truth, but they silenced me. If anything happens to me, this diary holds everything. The entries became more frantic, the handwriting more desperate. Then, on the very last page, 4 chilling words were scrawled in shaky ink. They are here now. Jake's breath caught in his throat. His great-grandmother had vanished without a trace in 1942. No one ever knew why. Until now. Jake realized he had uncovered a long-buried secret, one that someone had tried to erase. And if the warning in the diary was true, was he in danger too? Liam had always been warned not to go into his grandfather's attic. But when his family moved into the old house, curiosity got the best of him. One night, he snuck upstairs, his flashlight flickering in the dusty air. The attic was filled with old furniture, cobwebs, and forgotten memories. But in the corner, covered by a thick blanket, was a heavy wooden trunk. It had large iron locks and strange symbols carved into the sides. Liam's hands trembled as he brushed off the dust. Something about this trunk felt wrong. Then he saw a small brass key, half hidden under an old rug. Almost as if someone had tried to hide it. His heartbeat pounded as he fit the key into the lock. With a loud click, the trunk creaked open. Inside were old letters, photos, and a black leather book. Its cover was cracked, its pages filled with scribbled writing. The name on the first page made Liam freeze. William Carter, 1918. That was his grandfather's name. But something was off. His grandfather was born in 1945, so who was this? As Liam flipped through the book, his hands grew cold. The words on the pages spoke of someone trapped, someone who shouldn't exist. Then, at the very last entry, he saw a message written in dark, hurried ink. If you found this, it's too late. He's already watching you. A sudden thump echoed from the attic door. Liam spun around, his breath caught in his throat. He wasn't alone.